Another year, another SmackDown vs. Raw game. The latest entry in the long-running series picks off where last year left off, continuing to focus on user creation and true-to-TV action. The biggest new additions this year are on the user creation side, and thanks to good online sharing tools, you don't need to invest a ton of time to reap the rewards. The action itself benefits from some refinements and generally flows more smoothly than last year. There are a lot of little touches that make matches feel more like those you see on TV, but this isn't always a good thing. The things that spice up matches can also make them last far too long and feel like a grind. The game also suffers from many perennial problems, like weak sound effects, problematic online play, and nagging animation issues. While this year's SmackDown vs. Raw is definitely better than last year's, it's more of an incremental improvement than a substantial upgrade. One of the first improvements you'll see is the training facility, which pops up at the beginning of the game. The controls are largely unchanged from last year, but the training facility is a great place to familiarize yourself with how different moves work in different places in and around the ring. SmackDown vs. Raw's controls are largely dependent on position, and getting to know what a character does in what situation will not only make you a better wrestler, it's a lot of fun because you get to do a lot of cool stuff. Characters seem to have slightly expanded movesets this year, and it is much easier to maneuver your opponent around the ring to take advantage of this.
Now, I'm not really a good handyman, but that's one big ladder.
The training facility is also a good place to familiarize yourself with abilities, which play a more concrete role this year. Each wrestler has certain abilities. Using your character's abilities can give you an edge in the ring, but odds are you won't need them much while playing solo. The computer doesn't put up much of a fight one-on-one, and you'll easily dismantle opponents without taking too much damage. It's still fun to wail on another wrestler, but when your opponents do things like Irish whip you across the ring and then just stand there waiting for you to recover, you'll long for a more realistic challenge. When things do get tough, it's almost always because more wrestlers are in the mix. Tag team matches, fatal four-ways, six-man contests, pretty much any match with 4 or more wrestlers ringside is tough to win. Not because your opponents are tougher, but because there are more of them, and they will vigorously try to break up any pin you attempt. This makes matches longer and truer to TV, and your victories here can be very, very satisfying. Presentation-wise, SmackDown vs. Raw continues to impress, with accurate character models and bustling crowds. The crowds still don't look great upon close inspection, and superstars do some strange things with their mouths, but on the whole the game looks very good. The announcers are on point most of the time, and they inject the proceedings with some much-needed drama and flair.
He has just been battered. It's been battered, deep fried, and now hurting from head to toe.
But even lively announcing can't mask the still disappointing sound effects. Fortunately, the game knows what its strengths are, and once again delivers a lot of content. From superstar careers to the Road to WrestleMaina, there are many hours of fights and melodrama to enjoy. Of the 6 Road to WrestleMania paths, perhaps the most entertaining is the one you take with your created wrestler. There's a good amount of humor and some clever gimmicks, as well as a lot of interesting match situations. Unfortunately, some of your matches have goals that are poorly stated. Still, it's worth it to play this one through, if only to don a giant chicken suit in the ring. The stellar creation tools are back and as robust as ever, with expanded options and clothing customization. Being able to customize your own logos and tattoos adds a whole new dimension, but the one that folks will get the most mileage out of is definitely the Story Designer. This mode lets you script shows over weeks, months, and years, choosing which matchups happen when, who interferes, and who runs their mouth on the microphone. It's easy to create short sequences, and those who put a lot of time into longer arcs will be able to create some epic stuff. Fortunately, even if you aren't the time investment type, you can download stories that other folks have uploaded and reap the benefits. Online sharing is well implemented, but online matches are still a bit problematic. Matches often have a low level of lag that is just enough to disrupt your timing, and the single-player action does a poor job of preparing you for the online arena, where opponents are fast and merciless. Though there are generally a fair amount of games available to join, many of them don't have great connection speeds, and players will often abandon lobbies while the host waits for the match to fill up. Still, if you're looking for some serious competition, you can definitely find it online. SmackDown vs. Raw 2010 offers a lot of subtle improvements on last year's game and includes a lot of new, diverse content. Though this year's entry is really good, one has to wonder how much mileage this series can continue to get out of its current model before there just isn't enough new stuff to entice players to make another purchase. Whether or not next year will bring a significant overhaul remains to be seen, but until then, wrestling fans are sure to enjoy this well-rounded, thoroughly entertaining product.